Bernardi Auto, they've got Audis, Hondas, and Toyotas. They are the ones who sponsor who Mazz thinks is a fraud and who's for real. Mazz's tears.
Yeah, those are the tears of a clown.
Mazz's tears.
The second tier. Hold on, let me get my pen.
Mazz's tears.
Dallas. Buffalo. Tennessee.
Mazz's tears.
Third tier. Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me get my pen.
Mazz's tears. 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 Tears.
All right. It's that time of the week. Time for Mazz's Tears. What do we got this week, Mazz?
All right, so here's what we're going to do. You know, the NBA playoffs coming up, things like that. Sometimes we give you, for example, NBA tiers going into the playoffs. We're not going to do that yet. We try to pick timely things. The Trevor Story injury was a big injury for the Red Sox. So what we came up with was this. It's a long way to get there. Biggest injuries in Boston sports in the last, let's call it 50 years.
Okay.
Okay, biggest injuries in Boston sports. And when I say biggest injuries, we're not looking for tragic injuries.
Yes.
Or tragic occurrences or a congenital thing that popped up with a player. We're not looking for that. We're looking for something that basically happened on the field that altered the course of a season or seasons. Okay, that's what we settled on.
Okay. And just want to let you know that Mazz's Tears is brought to you by the Bernardi Automotive Group. When it comes to auto dealers, the Bernardi Automotive Group always finishes top tier, with Mazz anyway, and with you, with everybody. That's because they sell and service Acura, Audi, Honda, Nissan, Toyota, and Volvo. Bernardi for now, Bernardi for life. Find them now at BernardiAutogroup.com. Take it away, Anthony.
Okay, so let me just give you one more caveat, and that is that Trevor Story's not on this list.
Thank you.
Because it wasn't big enough.
Thank you.
So now, again, major injury has affected their season, but they probably weren't a championship caliber team anyway, so I don't know how much they really lost, but you get the idea. There have been some big events over the years when you really think about it that potentially cost the Red Sox or any team in town championships. So that's what we're doing. We're going to start with Tier 3, and you may or may not agree, and some of these, whatever, but we're coming up with a list. Kyrie Irving's knee back in 27-18. The Celtics were good that year.
You bet.
And then he had to go in and have that screw removed from his knee prematurely, kind of wiped him out for the playoffs. They ended up losing to Cleveland that year in the postseason. Had Kyrie been healthy, who knows? It was a significant injury. Kendrick Perkins' knee in 2010. He missed Game 7. They lost the series to the Lakers. Jason Tatum's ankle in Game 7 last year. It gets overlooked a lot because they probably should have won the game against Miami anyway. Significant injury. Patrice Bergeron's back, which happened in the final game of the regular season. Really affected the Bruins' chances, and they forced him into the lineup and hurt them. Murray raised this, and it's an interesting one to consider. We did include it. Zdeno Chara's broken jaw.
Yeah?
Now, he played, but he wasn't really the same guy, understandably. So, a tough break for the Bruins. That's not one you see happen often.
It was really a concussion, too.
Yeah, it's okay. So there you go.
I think he was concussed. That's why, because remember the game before, he sat on the bench but didn't play.
Oh, that's right.
So players do that when they don't want to go back and deal with the spotter.
Okay, so there you go. Makes all the sense in the world. Here's a good one that a lot of people won't remember. Robert Edwards' knee exploded during the offseason of 1998-99.
Everyone remembers that.
Okay, well, many of the young people wouldn't, I guess, because they're going to say, who the hell's Robert Edwards? He played 1 year.
First-round pick.
He was a running back out of Georgia, I believe, if I remember right. He was dynamite as a rookie.
1,100 yards, like 12 or 13 touchdowns at a time that, now that's probably easier to happen, but then, he was going to be a stud.
And Murray, I think he had 35, 40 catches on top of it.
They were playing, Mazz just said, beach volleyball at the Pro Bowl in Hawaii.
And his knee literally, it was like a Teddy Bridgewater injury.
They had these guys playing beach volleyball. Can you fathom,
Don't run in sand.
What are you doing?
Yeah. And his career was never the same. He was never the same player. He never recovered from it. The only other one I included on that list, Kevin McHale had a big foot injury in 1987 that affected the Celtics in the finals
that
against.
Was heartbreaking.
He played on a broken foot, basically. Frankly, I think they would have lost anyway, but it was, they had no chance with McHale hurt. Tier 2, Jimmy. Now, some of these are, I'll get to, are a little more longer in scope.
Yep.
We'll start at the bottom. Tom Brady's ankle in 2007.
Big one.
Patriots.
He was 07.
07. He was not the same in the Super Bowl. They lost. They may have lost anyway. Hard to know. He did not move well in that game, though. 19-0 went out the window with it. Similarly, Rob Gronkowski in 2011, sprained ankle, a high ankle sprain, was not the same for the game against the Giants. This is going way back. Tony Canigliaro in 67, not for the fact that it altered his career. They lost him in August. That was the team that went to Game 7 of the World Series anyway. They could have won it if he were there in the same breath. Jim Rice broke his wrist in 1975. Early September, got hit by a pitch, did not play in the postseason.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I forget that. I didn't know that.
And he was every bit the Rookie of the Year candidate that Fred Lynn was at that time.
Yeah.
2009, Dennis Seidenberg and David Krejci. Huge reason the Bruins lost to the Flyers. Not an excuse, but they lost both of those guys in that series.
You mean 2010?
2010. What did I say? 2009?
Yeah, you mean the 3-0 blown lead?
I meant 2010.
So 2010. I'm not sure Seidenberg was Seidenberg on that team.
Remember? Yeah, he got. That was the year they acquired him.
Krejci was definitely. Richards broke his hand or his wrist.
Seidenberg sliced a tendon in his wrist. Remember, there was a.
I don't remember that one.
Someone hit him with a skate blade, and he got a tendon in his wrist cut.
Okay.
They lost Seidenberg that postseason too. Kevin Garnett.
Wow, tier 2.
The year after I thought that those two guys were great for him in the playoffs the next year. Kevin Garnett got hurt the next year after they won the title. Celtics they should have won another title in the Garnett era.
That's not tier 1?
Okay, it's a big one.
I can't wait to hear what's on tier 1, Mazz.
And tier 2, Cam Neely's knee injury.
Another big one.
Okay.
Those are big injuries.
They were big injuries, yes. And so my question with Neely is, would it have made a difference? Would they have won a championship in there? I don't know. It certainly affected his career. Those are some big ones. The ones on in tier 1 to me are sort of franchise altering in some ways.
Yeah, so Bobby Orr.
And one of them is on there just because of who it happened to. So let's go to tier 1 if we could, Jimmy. Tom Brady's knee injury in 2008. It was an 18-1 team. They might have gone back to the Super Bowl. There was a lot at stake there. It's just hard to not put a season-ending injury to Tom Brady in the first quarter of Week 1 on the list. So, it's a candidate for Tier 2, but because it was Brady, to me it goes Tier 1. Drew Bledsoe's lung injury, taking a hit by Mo Lewis on the sideline, changed Patriots history. Gordon Hayward's broken ankle against Cleveland in the first 5 minutes of his Celtics career. Again, may have altered Celtic history. Go ahead, go. Say it.
I'd put Garnett in tier 1 and Gordon Hayward in tier 2.
Okay.
Because knowing what we know of Kyrie, they weren't, even if Gordon Hayward had stayed healthy, they wouldn't have won.
Yeah, but the timing of it,
like was the
hype,
wrong mix.
The hype surrounding everything that they built there, and it's over in 3 minutes with Hayward, that was crazy.
Garnett cost you a championship. That team wasn't going to win. We know it now.
Yeah.
No, so you raise a good point about Kyrie dragging him down. Going into that game, they thought they were a legit threat to win the title.
Believe me.
They thought it. They said, we're going to win the whole thing. And then I think maybe the single biggest thing on the list, Bobby Orr's knees.
Yes.
And it's hard to pick like 1 year with Orr. And I tried to look this up today. Even Orr does not know how many surgeries he had on his left knee because he never been able to find his complete medical records. He has estimated on the left knee alone 17 to 21 surgeries.
Wow.
That's crazy. When you asked me earlier, I was like, I don't know, 7?
Seven. Based on an internet search I did today, we don't know how reliable that is. 17 to 21. We're talking about one of the great revolutionaries in any sport.
Oh, yeah.
Changed the way the game was played. And who knows what the Bruins would have been if Orr played to age 35 instead of 29. And by 29, even when they traded him, he was done.
Cashed.
He didn't play the final 3 years, and however many years he was
Played
with
8
Chicago.
games for the Blackhawks.
Something like that, right? So to me, that's number one on the list. That was, that was both tragic in a lot of ways and franchise altering.